A jury has retired to consider its verdict in the case of a woman accused of murdering her abusive partner in their South Auckland home. Karen Ruddelle admits stabbing Joseph Ngapera in their Manurewa home in 2018, but claims she was acting in self-defence to protect herself and her child. Justice Palmer this morning delivered his final instructions to the jury of 8 women and 4 men who are tasked with deciding whether she is guilty of murder, manslaughter or not guilty of either. Mathew Theunissen has been following the trial and joins me now from the High Court in Auckland. Good evening, Mathew. Can you just remind us what the jury has been told and heard during this trial?
Good evening, Lisa. Yes, Karen Ruddelle doesn't deny that she stabbed and killed her partner, Joseph Ngapera, but she claims that when they got into an argument after a night out, she became frightened for her life and for that of her 14-year-old son. Her defence team have argued that because of years of domestic abuse and violence she suffered at the hands of Mr. Ngapera, when she grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed him, she was acting out of a sort of primal instinct in order to protect herself and her son. But the prosecution have argued that she wouldn't have stabbed him twice and with the amount of force that she used if she hadn't intended to kill him.
So, has anyone contested the evidence that it was a violent relationship between the two?
No, both the Crown and the defence agree that it was certainly a violent relationship and that Ms. Ruddelle did have a very traumatic upbringing. We've heard that Mr. Ngapera could be a generous, kind and was a talented man. When he drank, he turned violent. And the jury was told about dozens of instances of domestic violence, including a time he strangled her and pushed her against the wall, as well as numerous threats to kill her. So Ms. Ruddelle gave evidence herself and told the court that she was a victim of domestic violence as a child as well. And this really is important to the defence's case because it says that when she stabbed Mr. Ngapera, she was acting out of fear that this history had instilled in her, and it meant that she wasn't thinking rationally at all.
So what's the Crown's counter been to that argument?
Well, the Crown told the jury that Mr. Ngapera wasn't poised to attack her or her son at the time, and that she took her by surprise when she stabbed him. They also said that domestic violence isn't an excuse to kill someone. They say that Ms. Ruddelle was drunk and feeling bold at the time, and that when she stabbed him, it was deliberate. And she would, of course, have been aware that this could have caused him to die, which he did.
So where are things at right now?
Yes, well, the jury's just been sent home for the day. They retired at about 20 to 11 this morning, so close to 7 hours of deliberation now. We haven't had any indication as to whether they're close to reaching a verdict or not, so it could be a matter of minutes once they're back tomorrow or days, as these things sometimes go.
Thank you, Mathew. That's Mathew Theunissen, who's been down at the High Court in Auckland covering that case, the case of Karen Ruddelle, and who admits stabbing her partner Joseph Ngapera. The jury is now considering a verdict in that trial.